Hello and welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a great day. So today I have something very special for everybody. This is going to be a very interesting video because it's a new topic. It's really interesting, so hold on. Why is this not opening? Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, let's do this. There it is. Alright, now this is not what I'm trying to... JWT. This is what I'm going to be using today in Flet. The JSON Web Token, JWT. A compact URL safe means of representing claims to be transferred between two parties. It is widely used in authentication and authorization processes. A JWT consists of 3 parts. You don't need to know about that for now. It's really simple. The purpose, we need to just understand the purpose. Just need to understand a purpose. This is it, JSON Web Token. Suggested pronunciation. Okay. Is a proposed internet standard for creating data with optional signature and or optional encryption, whose payload holds JSON that asserts a number of claims. I'm looking for a simpler explanation. For example, a server could generate a token that has the claim logged in as administrator and provide that to a client. The client could then use that token to prove that it is logged in as admin. The tokens can be signed by one party's private key, usually the servers, so that any party can subsequently verify whether the token is legitimate. They too are able to verify the token's legitimacy. Alright. This is, I'm looking for an even simpler version, JSON Web Tokens. Alright, this is taking longer than usual to load a website. I do not know why this is happening. Indeed, this is time consuming. Oh, look at that. It's not responding. Okay, it has loaded. It took a lot of time, but finally it has loaded. So, what is this? JSON Web Token, pronounced JOT, is an open standard RFC 7519 that defines a compact and self-contained way for securely transmitting information between parties. So this is what it's used for, securely transmitting information between parties as a JSON object. Again, JOT is a standard, meaning that all JOTs are tokens, but not all tokens are JOTs. You can take the time to understand that. I'm just focusing on the main thing, what it does. Because of its relatively small size, a JOT can be sent through a URL, through a post parameter, or inside an HTTP header. It is transmitted quickly, contains all the required information about an entity to avoid querying a database more than once. The recipient of a JOT also does not need to call the server to validate the token. Benefits. Okay, pass an HTML, alright. Versus this, okay. Secure. Let's just go to the, what do you call, our, good friend, ChatGPT is gonna tell us, tell me, hold on, I know how to use a JWT in Flet, but what I don't know is what is the actual purpose of this. Why is it even needed? Confused. Alright, ChatGPT, please do your trick. Okay, I gotta reload the page. Reload the page, and there we go. So, yes, a compact URL safe way of representing claims. Well, if you're a new viewer, you're obviously not going to know what a claim is. Anyways, we can step on. We can. I mean, I don't mean to say step. I meant to say skip. We can skip the claim for now. It is often used for authentication and authorization purposes in web applications. When you're working with JSON and Flet or any web framework, you're likely dealing with the need to secure communication between a client, like a web browser, and a server. So you get the idea, right? Secure communication between a client and a server. The client is like a web browser, which means us, the user, and the server, obviously the server. The token is a way to identify the user and ensure that the client is who they say they are. Okay, the token is a way to identify the user and ensure that the client is who they say they are. So yeah, this means that simply that whoever is the user, whenever the token is like validated again, it needs to be the same user. So in case it gets tampered or someone tries to do something funny with the token while it's getting transferred, in that case the user is going to be somebody else, right? Because somebody tampered with the token. And that is why this JOT, that is where JOT comes in. It is a safe way to do communication between a client and a server. So why is JOT needed? Number one, they're important in modern web development for authentication. JOT allows users to log in and then carry around a token, often stored in local storage or cookies that proves they are logged in, without needing to constantly resubmit their username and password. Okay, I get it. So, like if I'm logged into any website, like for example, ChatGPT, right? So if I, let me just close this. So if I go to ChatGPT again, I don't need to log in again. I don't need to do that. It's already logged in. And what is the reason? I mean, there might be some other reasons. I'm just giving you people an example. So I'm already logged into ChatGPT and I don't need to re-log in. So just for an example, why do I not need to log in? Because obviously, because the JOT tokens. Why? Because the token is stored in this local storage, in my PC local storage, or in the cookies, probably in the web browser. So JOT is stored here, and that is helping me so that I don't need to log in again, constantly submit my username. I don't need to do that again. Instead of checking the user's credentials on every request, the server just verifies the token. That's cool. A user logs in with their username and password. Once verified, the server issues a JWT. Okay, for every subsequent request, the user sends the JWT and the server checks if it is valid and whether the user is authorized to perform the requested action. You get what this is, where this is going, right? So once you're logged in, you don't need to re-log in. That's it. And there are also other things that it is helpful in. This was all to just give you a basic idea. So now let's get to the coding part. That is the fun part. Also, yeah, I'm going to be focusing on the the JSON Web Token. I'm going to focus on that. So the login functionality, I'm not going to focus on that. You know, I've already done that in some previous videos. You can take a look at that. It's really simple. I'm going to focus on the JSON Web Token. That's important for this video. I'm going to create a new file and save it. So let's call this let's give it an appropriate name. Okay, yeah. Let's call it this. Make it look cool. Alright, and this is going to be Python. I am just going to add an underscore, probably. No need for an underscore. I'm just gonna do this. Remove the spacing, and we are good to go. Okay, JSON Web Token. Hold on. Alright, so the first thing what I'm going to do is I am going to import some modules. Obviously, the first is going to be Flet. We've been using that in the past videos as well. Give that an alias, ft. Another module that is going to be used here is the datetime module. It's really important for this. And the next thing I'm going to import is this is what we need. No. I just need the JWT. This is it. This is what I need. Import JWT. So now you can obviously see that it's not accessed. It's not accessed. It's not being used anywhere. So obviously it's going to be a yellow color. Once it's used, the yellow color underlining is going to go away. As simple as that. Alright, so yeah. So what do we do first? Yes. Really simple. Let's just define a function. Let's just define a function first. Let me visualize the structure. What am I trying to focus on? Okay, so let's just define it. Okay, I don't know if I paused the video. I don't know. So if there's some audio error, or if you heard my voice not clear, it might be that I might have paused the video somewhere. So okay, so let's just go with the basics. Let's define a function. And what I'm going to do is from the Flet module, I'm going to access a page class. Then I'm going to create an alias so that we don't have to retype this ft.page every time. And then I'm going to do some decoration on the page. It's not just a page, specifically the window. The height. Alright, page. Let's set this to a 500 is good. And I want to do the same thing. Page.window.width. Do that. Alright. And next I'm gonna define another function called the login function. And this is gonna be really simple. As I told you at the start of the video, I'm not focusing on the login part, right? I'm not focusing on the login part. I'm gonna focus on the tokens part. So yeah, let's do this. So I'm gonna define two variables. Alright, I'm gonna call them so password is equal to let's just say password is this ABC, and the other thing that I'm going to be using is the username. Let's set it to ABC as well. So you can set the login stuff later on. It's really simple. You can watch my previous videos. Sign a login form. Yeah, here it is. I've already done this. It's really simple. It's very easy. This is today is a different. It's a little bit unique topic, and it's really interesting. JSON Web Tokens used for authorization, authentication stuff, all that kind of cool stuff. Mostly security purposes. Keep your communication data safe. Transferring data in a secure way. Alright, so yeah, these are two variables, and I'm going to be using them in the login function. What I'm going to do next is, if password is equal to ABC, right? Password is equal to ABC, and the username is also equal to ABC. right? In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the JWT token function. You get what I'm trying to do here, right? Look, it's really simple. Logic is really simple. So once the user logs in, right? Once the user logs in, he clicks a button, and once the user logs in, if the login is successful, right? A token is going to be created. If the login is successful, a token, the JSON Web Token, is going to be created. And who's going to do that? Obviously, this function is going to do that. So I'm trying to tell you about the logic, right? So if password is correct and the username is correct, only then we're going to create a JSON token. Otherwise, if any one of these is incorrect, the token is not going to be created, all right? So both of them have to be correct, and once they're both correct, the user has logged in. As soon as the user logs in, a token is going to be created. So let's do that. I'm going to call the token function. I'm trying to define these functions globally so they can be accessed in the whole program. So let's do this create JWT function. Okay, here we go. Okay, now let me, okay, I forgot about the define keyword, which was very important. It was very important. Okay, so how do we create the token, right? Really simple. It's really simple. So first you need the payload, and these are the brackets for a dictionary. These are the brackets for a dictionary. So I've created a variable called payload, and then this payload variable is going to hold a dictionary. So a dictionary is basically a collection of key value pairs. Okay, a collection of key value pairs. So this payload variable is going to hold a dictionary that is going to contain key value pairs. What do I mean by key value pairs? Check this out. Check this out. Hold it. I just don't want to mess up the indentation because that is a pain, messing up the indentation. Alright, so there's going to be like 3 things to this. This is going to be the subject, alright, and then colon. And then there's going to be a IAT. IAT's, let me try to remember what this was. IAT was like the time when the token was created, and then we have the expiry. This is when the token was, this is the time for the token to be expired. So there is a subject, IAT. Let me just Google that. Let me just, okay. What is IAT in JWT? JWT, yeah. Yeah, issued at. The IAT stands for issued at. So what time was it issued? So IAT stands for issued at. So first, this is the time at which the token was issued, like 6:30, 4:30, whatever time it was. This is the time it was issued at. Expiry, this is the time the token got expired. This is the time the token is going to get expired, and you can't use the token again once the time is expired. So let's focus on the subject. In the subject, I'm gonna use user ID because this is the first parameter. User ID. The subject is going to be the user ID. Now what I'm gonna do is IAT, right? Issued at. So what time is this token being generated? It's being generated. It's gonna be generated once the user logs in, and that exact time needs to be recorded. How we're going to do that? It's really simple. You remember that we imported the datetime module. So let's use the datetime module. And now we're going to use the datetime class. See, this is a module and this is a class. From the datetime module, I'm using the datetime class. And that class is going to tell me what is the time right now. I mean, not like right now. The time when the token gets created, it's going to record that time and store it in this. And that way you can get the exact time the token was created. Okay, so in date time, what you want to do next is this is now. which is a method, a function that's going to do something. What is it going to do? So UTC. So why am I using UTC? Because so what I read about UTC, that like if you use UTC, you're not gonna have time problems, no matter which country, which zone, like all that different layers of information. You don't have to worry about any of that. UTC is going to handle every sort of information about time. So anywhere in the universe, wherever you are, UTC global time zone. I think this was what I read. You don't need to worry about time when you use UTC. It's going to be a uniform time. It's a really good, cool thing to use. You don't need to worry about the different time zones because there's so many time zones in the world. A UTC is like a global thing. This is what I read about it. I could be wrong, but this is my information. This is what I read on the internet. Okay, so this is time, right? So for example, the token gets created at 4:30 and the date. So whatever date today is and whatever time the token gets created, this is going to get that time and date. And this is the expiry time. So it's going to be the same mostly. So what is going to be the expiry time? Really simple. It's really simple. Look, the first part is going to be the same. Don't need to worry about that. Date time, that time zone, that UTC. All right. Here we go. So whatever time the token got created, after 1 hour is going to expire. That time zone. Exactly after hold it. So exactly like after 1 hour, right, from the creation. So this thing is telling us that the token is going to expire 1 hour after the token got created, and the token got created at this time, and it's going to get expired 1 hour after the creation. It's really simple. A small mistake. This is date time dot time delta. This is actually delta. All right. This is okay. All right. So I'm gonna put a placeholder here. What am I doing? Well, I'm gonna put a placeholder. I need to do that. And the placeholder name is going to be user ID. Why am I doing this? Look. So whenever this function gets called, when the user logs in, the token needs to be created, but I put a placeholder there. Like, on what value is the token going to be created on? How is the function going to know, like, who's the user? Who's the user, right? We need to tell the function that this person is the user for which you have to make the token, right? So let me give it a random. Let me just give it a random like name. I'm gonna just say like the user is user Parker. So Parker is the person, right? Parker is a person, and the web token needs to be created for this person. So I pass in user Parker. That user Parker is going to come over here in user ID. This now holds user Parker, and user Parker is going to get stored here. So this holds user Parker now. So the subject is now user Parker. So the function knows for whom are we creating the token. So the token is being created for Parker. This is the user. All right, really simple. So yeah, so the web token creation thing does not end here. Because all of this information, the subject, the IAT, and the IAT issued at, the time it was issued at, and the time it expired, all this stuff needs to be encoded so it cannot be tampered with. So it can be secured. We need security for this information, and we can do that by encoding it. Let me return it later. So what I'm going to do is, for you remember we used a module called JWT, so we're going to use that now. So from the JWT module, we're going to call the encode function. You see, this is a function. What we're going to do is, all this information is actually inside the payload variable. So I need to lock the payload variable. I need to secure the payload variable. So I'm going to type payload here. What this is going to do is this is going to encode everything so that it can be opened up, right? It's like you go outside from your house, but you lock all the doors so no one can get into the house, right? Your house is now secure because you've locked the door. Everything is safe. And that is the same thing over here. You're locking the information, you're securing the information. You're encoding it in computer terminology. You're encoding it. And also, I forgot. I need to add a secret key over here because this is going to be used as well. I'm gonna call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. Let me just call it ABC 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. So that is a secret key. It is global. It's global and oh, also I forgot pip install JWT. Yeah, this module needs to be installed. I did not mention that in the start. Actually, yeah, I didn't mention that. So yeah, it's getting installed. So the underline should go away. It should go away. Definitely. There it is. Let me just save it. So close this and open it up again. Open it up again. Come on, open up. Here it is. So you see the underline is gone. The module has now been imported. So it's going to encode the payload, which is the credentials of the user. We also want to encrypt the secret key. This key does not need to be known by anybody, or else bad things are going to happen. Right? So what we can do is, it's still loading the program. Okay. So secret key is going to be encoded, and the last thing that I need to include in this is the algorithm. So what is this algorithm? This is the algorithm that is going to be used, right, on in creating the token. What algorithm are we going to use right now? So I'm just going to use this algorithm. It is called the this is going to be a single algorithm. I'm going to call this is the HS 256. This is an algorithm which can be used in the JSON token creation, right? HS256. This is the algorithm. So all these things have been encoded. So they're secret. Everything is a secret now. All these three things are now a secret. But there's still a slight problem. So all this information needs to be relayed. It needs to be sent back over here, right? It needs to be sent back over here because there's also another step. And that step is called validate the JW token. There's also another step, and that's the validate function. After creating the token, it also needs to be validated. So we need to store this thing in a variable. So let's store it in, we can do that later. You get the idea, right? After it's been created, it also needs to be validated. So whatever thing this is, it needs to be returned. So this is going to return. Look, let me check the indentation. There it is, correct. So what this is going to do is it's going to send all these things back to the user ID, and that user ID is going to come back here. Now this function now has all the encoded information, and we just need to store it in a variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable and store all the encoded information inside it. So let me name the variable token. I'm going to call it token. As simple as that. So all the encoded information is now sitting inside token. Alright. Okay, so here's the process. So until now, the user has logged in, and a token has been created, and all the encoded information has been saved inside token. Now what I want to do is, I want to tell the user on the screen that the token has been created. So what I can do is, I can use the page.add function, right? I can use this to tell the user. Well, let me use ft.text. Alright, so I can tell the user that I'm going to use f and the string. It's easier to like separate things. So the token has been created. Alright, and then in the curly brackets you can add the variable token. This is going to actually display the token on screen. You can actually see the token on screen. It's really exciting. You can actually see the token on screen. So this is the variable. You're going to see that variable here. And this is going to display the variable on screen. Not the variable. It's going to show us the actual token. Because the token got created in this whole thing. The token has been created. It's been sent back here. It's been stored inside this variable. And that variable is going to show on screen. It's going to show us the actual token, alright? Okay, so token has been shown. What we're going to do next is, now we need to validate the token, right? We need to validate the token. So we need to call the validate function. It's already been called. I just need to create the function. So let's create it somewhere over here. This function is still declared globally, okay? Look, these three things are global. The function is global, I think. I might be wrong at some point. You can tell me in the comments. So let me just copy the function name. Let me just copy the entire thing. Let me copy it and paste it here. Alright, there we go. Now, the validate function. So, I'm going to use the try block. Why I'm using this? Because I want to take care of any errors, right? I want to take care of any problems that might arise. So I want to take care of them. Any problems, any errors. So the try except block is going to take care of that. Alright. Okay, so in order to validate the token, we first need to decode it, right? So that the program can understand what actually is inside the token. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to decode the token, right? But there's still a small problem. The function still doesn't have the token. We didn't send it. So we need to send a token first. You know which token this is, right? This is this token. That is the same token. I put it inside this function. I pass it here. And that token is going to travel. And it's going to reach this function. Where it is. Here it is. It's going to reach this function. Alright. I'm going to call this token as well. So now that token is sitting inside this. And now the function can actually decode the token. Now there's no problem. So let's start decoding the token. Okay, so decode the actual token. What's inside the token? Check it out. jwt.decode is going to check out the token, open it up. What is inside it? And what else? It's gonna check the secret key. Is it still the same? And it's also gonna check the algorithm. Is this the same algorithms? Is this the same algorithm as it was when it was created? Right? Why am I typing all these things? Inside the token, it is gonna test. It is gonna check the subject, the IAT, the expiry time. If there's any sort of ambiguity or confusion in this, it's gonna get invalid. It's gonna give me an error if anything is wrong or different. It needs to be exactly the same inside the token. So all these three things should be the same over here. And the secret key, this should also be the same as this. And the algorithm should only be one, which is this, HS256. So I'm using the list in case the token got tampered with, right? In case the token got tampered with, in that case, there might be some other algorithm inside it, along with this. It could be a possibility, right? It could be one algorithm with a different name, some other algorithm, or it could be multiple algorithms, because the token could have been tampered with. And that is why I'm using a list, so I can understand how many algorithms if someone tampered with it. Which algorithm did the user use to tamper with the token? So you get the idea, right? Okay, so the original algorithm should be this. This is the original algorithm, HS256. So if this algorithm is changed, if it's not HS256, so this thing is going to give me an error because that means someone actually opened up the token, or maybe tried to open the token, or maybe tried to do some tampering and stuff, and tried to do some wrong stuff. In that case, right? In that case, it's going to give me an error. So I'm going to talk about the error later. So first, in case it successfully gets validated. This is the first scenario. Token is the same, nothing changed, subject is the same, IT, EXP, everything is the same, secret key is the same, algorithm is the same, everything is okay. In that case, what I want to do is I want to return all this. But what am I going to return? If I return this whole thing again, it's like a long code. I don't want to do that. That is too long, bro. That is too long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called payload. All right, I'm going to create a variable called payload, and I'm going to put all this stuff inside payload, and it's still going to decode it. It's still going to decode it. Once it's decoded, it's going to get stored in this. Everything is going to get stored in the payload variable. And instead of returning the whole sentence, I can just return the payload variable, because the payload variable actually contains the result of all of this, the decoded information. Alright, so if everything is successful, if everything goes well, algorithm is same, secret key is same, token is okay. Only in that case, it is going to return the payload. Only in that case. Alright, only in that case. So let's continue with the scenario. It's successful. So the payload got returned. It went back into the token. This payload is going to travel back into the token, and it's going to come back here. So now this contains the payload, and I need to store it somewhere so I can show it on screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store this in a new variable. All right. So now the payload, which was this, it traveled over here into the token. It came over here, and then from there it came over here. So token now contains the payload, the decoded information, all of this. Payload contains all of this information, the decoded information. So that means, why did I break my flow? Let me just tell you again. Okay, so this was payload. It has all the decoded information. It got returned because it was successful. So payload went into token over here. What is this doing? So payload, oh my gosh. Okay, so payload traveled to token. It came here. All right, it came here, and then from there it came over here. Payload is over here, and then payload went inside token. So token now contains the information which was inside payload. So all the information that was inside payload is now inside token. So all I got to do now is I got to tell the user. I'm going to tell the user that the validation was successful. Hold on. I'm going to tell you that validation was successful. And what I'm going to do is I need to show what information that is, which is inside token. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add token here. What this is going to do is all the information of payload is now inside this token variable. I added that token variable over here, so now you're actually going to see on the screen all the decoded information on screen. Also, you need to be careful or keep in mind that at this point, the token was created, and this token had the actually created token, and this token was shown on screen. Later on, this token was modified. Now this token has the decoded information, and now the decoded token is being shown here, the JSON decoded. Alright, so initially this part was showing us the encoded token. This part was showing us the encoded token. And the second part is showing us the decoded token after it got validated. Alright, so it's gonna, okay. So remember that we're using the else if else. So in case, so the token validation is done. So in case the password or username of the user is not correct, we're gonna tell the user, hold on, we're going to tell the user ft.text. We're going to tell the user either the password or the username is incorrect. So if even one of them is incorrect, we're going to tell the user this is the problem. We're going to tell the user this is the problem. That username or password is incorrect. Simple. Really simple. So this scenario is not going to run, else is not going to run. If is going to run, this is actually going to run. Why? Because I already set it to ABC, ABC. Look, it's the same. ABC, ABC. So only the if statement is going to run in here. Alright, so successful scenario has been run. So let's imagine the other scenario in which the token actually got tampered with. Someone actually opened up the token somehow. It changed the information. Now the token is not the original token. It has been changed. There are some changes in token. In that case, what we're gonna do we're gonna return an error from the Flet mod from the JWT module, and that error is gonna be expired. No. Expired. No, invalid token. Yeah, invalid token, because there has been some change. JWT dot invalid token error. Why is it not reading this? It should actually read this. And then it's going to return this text. Something changed in the token. So that case has been solved in case the token gets tampered with. And there could also be another case in which the token actually gets expired, right? We set the expiry time to 1 hour after the creation. So imagine the token got expired and the user is actually trying to validate the token again, right? In that case, if it's past 1 hour, the token has already expired, and then it should give this error. It should handle this error. Expired signature. Expired signature error. This should be the thing. And then we're simply going to return a simple statement. We're going to tell them that the token got expired. That's it. The token got expired. Simple. Let me close this and reopen VS Code because it's not reading those values. It should actually read the expired signature error and the invalid token error, but it's not doing that because they're from the JWT module. Maybe indentation error? I don't know. There is some sort of error that is in this. Hold it. Let me check the indentation. No, this is the wrong indentation. This is correct. So these values, I'm actually accessing them. I'm accessing them from JWT, but for some unknown reason they're not getting read. Something is definitely wrong here. Anyways, that's okay because these two statements are not going to run. Because the first statement is going to run because no one's going to tamper with the token. Alright, so this is done. Anything else I need to do? Let me check it out. Create is function is created, validate is created. All right. Hold on, let me see if I can actually access it from JWT. Except JWT dot expired. This is so weird. It's not showing. It's not showing them. All right, so let's try to run this. Let's try to run this. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot to add the I forgot to run the app. I need to pass a function, which is this. I need to pass a function in order for it to run. Alright, there we go. It should run now. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I forgot one more thing. I totally forgot one more thing. I totally forgot it. I need to add a login button. I need to add a login button. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button. ft.text button. Let's create that. And then text is equal to login. And once if this button is clicked, it's gonna call the login function once this is clicked. Alright, so let's just add the button, the text button. Let's call this a button. And page.add, call the add the button on screen. Alright, so whenever the button is pressed, the login function is going to get called. It's going to check if password and username are the same. I mean, they're equal to ABC. Of course, both of them are correct. So this if block is going to run, the token is going to be created, right? It's going to get added to the page, and then the token is going to get validated, and then it's going to get added to the page. The else block is not going to run because this is always going to be true. And the rest of the story, you got it. So let's just run it and let's see what happens. Okay, let's press the login button and code. JWT has no attribute in code. What? No attribute in code? That is so weird. Of course it does have an encode attribute. Let me see what's wrong with this. We're gonna have to investigate. Let's just copy all of this, give it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to help us out. Alright, ChatGPT, do your thing. Show us the magic. JWT has no attribute in code. I mean, yeah, there's no attribute in code. How is that even possible? Oh, I think I installed the wrong. I didn't install this. I was supposed to install this. Okay. And that is why it is giving me the errors. So pip pip install JWT. So now it is going to install everything. There it is. And now if I just close this, so remember, you're actually supposed to install pip install JWT. This is gonna run. And if I run Visual Studio Code, so everything should be back to normal now. Hopefully, it's going to get... Alright. Come on, read it. Read it already. It's taking so much time to load the program. Oh my gosh. Come on, come on. Hurry up, hurry up. Read the program. Come on, read the program. Extension loading. Alright. Alright, almost done. Read JWT. Come on. It's still loading. Oh my gosh. Come on, load already. One file. To analyze. Alright. Come on. Yes, it worked. It finally worked. This is green as well. I told you, see the weird thing that was happening before? That was because when I started writing this code, I did pip install JWT, right? I did that. But that actually did not bring all the functions of JWT. In order to make the errors go away and bring back all the functions into our code, we actually needed to do this, pip install JWT. This is going to run the code, pip install JWT. This is actually, okay, so the errors are gone, so now everything is going to run, hopefully. Hopefully it is going to run if there's no errors. Alright. So if I press login, there we go, successful. Token has been created. So as soon as I press the login button, you see this, the login function got called. Alright, and the user had successfully logged in, and that is why the token got created. So the user successfully logged in, the token got created, and so the message appeared, token has been created. And this is the token, right, which I was telling you about, which is going to be shown on screen. Look, this is the token. It has 3 parts. This is the first part, and then dot, then the second part, dot, and the last part. You see? It has 3 parts. The token has 3 parts. This is a token that has been created. This is the encoded token. This is the encoding of everything. It's all a secret. And now, then the validation function got called, and the token was decoded, right? And then I told you I would show you the token on screen. So after the token got decoded, the message was on the screen. Validation was successful. And then this is the token. This is decoded token. It has the subject, which is user Parker. This is the time the token was created, the date and the time. And expiry is going to be 1 hour after that, right? 1 hour after that. So whatever time that is. So this is the decoded token. It has the subject, the IAT, and the expiry. So hopefully you understood and you enjoyed the video. You learned a lot. Thank you for stopping by. Have a very good day. This is the JSON Web Token using Flet. Remember, I'm using JSON Web Token and Flet, and the login was like just a basic login. I focused on the JSON Web Token, right? Thank you so much. Have a nice day.